Let's get this thing going here. This is where the work gets done. Anybody can pick 100 guys. We're going 101 through 257. And who was picking first, producer Striker? Let's see what we got here. Oh, it's me. Great. So Tennessee Titans are on the clock
I
here.
think it's you.
Yeah, it is. Remind me once again, Striker, what I did in the first few rounds here for Tennessee. Jeremiah Love, Keelan Rutledge, and Deshaun Stribling. And while I think about it, I know you talked about Deshaun Stribling not too long ago, JP. What are your thoughts on him potentially as a fit in Tennessee and maybe as a third rounder? Is that too rich for you? You okay with that?
No, I think I like it for Deshaun Stribling. And what I love the most about him is in NFL receiver groups, I like to think of them as like starting fives in basketball. I also like to think of it in terms of soccer, where you have these players who are connective tissues. They help blend together the best skills of your stars and some of the best skills of your role players. And I think Deshaun Stribling offers some of that capability of a guy who does the dirty work as a run blocker. Ole Miss asked him to do a lot as a run blocker in his final season. He's got real good straight line speed. I worry a little bit about some of the change of direction, but he's really strong after the catch. I think he'd operate well in Tennessee's offense to be sort of the dirty work guy, the in-between guy that allows for Wan'Dale Robinson to do what he does best, but also allows for Calvin Ridley to be sort of the separator on the outside. So I just like Deshaun Stribling overall as a player. I think he is like one of my favorite connective tissue guys in this receiver class.
Love it. Love it. All right. So here's what I'm going to do for the Tennessee Titans. I've been talked into putting this guy, and just so you guys know, Ryan Stryker, the producer, did all the work to put it in my big board here. So this is not the PFF big board. It's the Ryan Wilson big board. So I'm going to go against the Wilson big board, and I'm taking Pat Coogan here. I love Pat Coogan. I would have taken him in the third round, but people kept, hurting my feelings about it. So I have him going as a day 3 guy, but I think he's talk about connective tissue. Every single person we talked to at Indiana talked about him being a locker room leader. He was somehow the MVP of the Rose Bowl. What are we doing here? So I'm taking him here. They need I don't think Schlottman's a long-term answer at center. So let's take Pat Coogan. All right, JP, back to you. LA Raiders. And I think, Mike, as part of the Push in the Pile crew, was picking for the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, I should call them. He took Ian Nachord, he took Keith Abney, and now it's back to you, sir.
So I love already that we have our right tackle competition. We have Fernando Mendoza. I want to see receivers. I want to see if we can get some more speed, get some more explosiveness into this receiver room. And given that he's still here, I do think that they need some more juice after the catch of someone with the ball in their hands. I like Zachariah Branch here. I think this is exactly where I'd sort of draft him. I think that he is a very unique player in terms of contact balance, the speed and acceleration. I do think he's a very niche player.
Yeah.
But in Clint Kubiak's offense, they use a lot of 12 personnel. They want to try and get in some really fun looks. And for all the stuff that they did with Jackson Smith and Jigba as a running back, I think Zachariah Branch can do some of that same sort of gadgety stuff without taking away a lot of targets from Brock Bowers.
Emory, what do you think? I mean, you've seen 10,000 guys. What do you think about Zachariah Branch, especially here? Because I struggle with where you put him, given the niche nature that JP's talking about in terms of how you're going to use him.
I think for me, when you talk about a draft, you got to throw out, selection, like where you select them, because when it's week 9, you just care that he's making plays. You don't care. Yeah, we probably could have got him like 2 rounds later. Nobody cares about that. So especially right now, phenomenal pick, because you're going to find a way to help your offense with him in the game. And at worst, he helps you out in a return game, which is in and of itself is an impact. So I feel like when you're at the, in this area, just take good football players. I know that seems cliche, but to your point, something you always say, don't overthink it. A lot of people overthink the draft because you got to think down the line. No one cares about what happens in fly-in February when everybody comes in about the combine and the armlet and the pro days and the measurements. Can this dude play football? If he can play football, sign him up.
Yeah, that's a great point. And, fans get frustrated with the third day 3 pick that you don't take the players they wanted. But at the end of the day, you want good football players. All right, Josh, that brings me to you. You had to wait a little bit. David Bailey, Mekhi Lemon, CJ Allen, AJ Halsey have been taken for the New York Jets. And you are next here, sir.
Yes, we've gone heavy defense so far, which is just.
Josh, Aaron Glenn is trying to save his job, okay?
Well, and the funny thing is they went heavy defense in free agency as well. So this is a defense that has been totally turned over at this point. Looking at this class, they need an offensive guard, and one of my favorite tackle converts is staring me in the face right here, and that's Cage Casey from Boise
Ooh.
State. I think I'm going to go in that direction because you think about Ezra Cleveland before him at Boise State, playing tackle for the Broncos, making that transition successfully to guard at the next level. As the Jets are trying to fill out their offensive line, because presumably they're going to get their quarterback of the future in 2027. So let's go ahead and get our offensive line finalized. We'll take Cage Casey here off the board, early 4th round.
Yeah, it's a good pick. Emory, you're up with the Arizona Cardinals. I should point out we've only had 3 quarterbacks off the board, the 2 obvious ones in Fernando and Ty Simpson, and then we just had the Steelers take Garrett Nussmeier right before the 3rd round ended. So the world is your oyster if you're looking for a backup quarterback. In Arizona, let's check here. No quarterbacks yet. So I don't know. I know who. Look, I'm going to tell you guys right now who he's going to take. He's going to take Taylor Green. I forgot about that.
Absolutely. Lock it in, because at the end of the day, I want points. I'm not going to sit here and get quarterbacks that get sacked. I want dudes that can score. Y'all can have those quarterbacks that scared of pressure versus the blitz versus the pressure of the situation. Give me a dude that can break out that back door and run 70 yards in like 6 steps. Plus, this gives him a chance to learn behind suburban Jameis Winston and Jacoby Brissett, and where he can slowly be brought along, work on those footworks, and he has to protect the football. So why not get the next reincarnation of a Randall Cunningham? They may be too old for JP and Josh. Let's say Colin Kaepernick, right? Let's do that and get a backup quarterback that you can groom for the future.
I know you didn't call him suburban, James. That's so disrespectful to Jacoby. But here's the thing, man. I know sometimes I give Emory a hard time about loving these quarterbacks more. Than Taylor, their teams like Taylor, and this could be around the range that he goes off. I know there's some concerns because he's so long levered with the accuracy, but there's a lot to like, man, when he's on. And this is a team that desperately has to. They basically stretched out Kyler Murray and said, "Here, get him in the 4th round." So I get it. All right, next up here. Back to you, JP. You're picking for the Giants here. Malinois went first, and then Jadarian Price went at 37.
Okay, so I think the Giants need some more size in their receiving room. I'm going to go wide receiver here, and I'm going to go with Jacoby Lane. And he's a guy that I sort of struggled with evaluation-wise because I came in really high on him entering the 2025 season. I thought the size, speed, agility, I thought that stuff would really show up a little bit more. But he's incredibly young. I think he has huge hands, and he looked really good at the combine. That sort of helped the Senior Bowl where he was sort of just okay. But when you just have him working the vertical plane, and when you just have him working in contested catch situations right now, you can have him be a specialist that you draft in the 4th round and say, we're going to give you time to work. And he's a nice complement to what Malik Neighbors already is.
I'm with you, man. I think you're exactly right about just trying to read between the lines and who you're getting and then going from there. But this is the range, as Emory noted. You're taking good football players, and you don't have to spend a lot of time thinking about it. All right, next up, the Houston Texans, and they have taken thus far, I made all these picks for them, Casey Concepcion, Keldrick Falk, Inez Cooper, who I like a little bit more than others. I'm okay with that, interior offensive line, and then Kristen Miller, to get a more traditional, if you will, interior offensive lineman. I know they have Woody Marks. I know they just traded for David Montgomery. Emmett Johnson staring me in the face here. I'm going to take Emmett Johnson because I'm going to help out. We want to get CJ back to where he was before, and having other people do the heavy lifting for him, I think that will help get him in that direction. All right, Josh. Josh is a Browns fan, so Josh, you get to pick for the Browns, and then after that, you will be picking for the Broncos as well. So Monroe Freeling, Ty Simpson, Chris Brazzell, and Julian Neal were the picks in rounds 1 through 3.
So unfortunately, if you are not a fan of my picks, you're going to get a lot of me over the next 5. I've got 4 of the next 5. So we'll start here with the Browns. I'm thinking between 2 players. And Striker, first of all, if you can go to the tight ends real quick. Just want to make sure this guy's still available. Yeah, Oscar Delp is still there. He was recruited by Todd Monken when he was at Georgia, so that's a possibility.
Good call.
The other player I'm thinking about is Austin Barber, the offensive tackle from Florida, who I think is a great value at this point in time. I know you already took Monroe Freeling, but perhaps you get a right tackle of the future as well. But I'm going to go with Oscar Delp. I think this team's going to lean into those 2 tight end sets. You've got Harold Fannin Jr., who is a tremendous asset, of course, for the pass game, whichever quarterback they ultimately put under center. I'm not sure anybody's really excited by that quarterback competition at this point, but I'm going to go with Oscar Delpierre to give that quarterback another weapon.
Yeah, that's actually a great pick. And I had him at 182 on my big board, but that's only because he didn't get he didn't take advantage of the opportunities that he had. And you can say that's because of the other options. And that happens sometimes. In fact, Emory he was high on who's the guy that transferred from Stanford to Georgia last year, tight end that didn't get drafted, but made a roster. I'm sorry.
Ben Yurosek.
Yep. Yeah, Yurosek. That's another. And I think Oscar's a higher end athlete than that, but Ben Yurosek came in. His Stanford tape was really good, and he just went to a program that has a lot of dudes. So I like that pick a lot. And if he went higher than 182, I would not be surprised. All right, Denver Broncos. They've only had one pick. Mike took Jake Golday. No, Lige took Jake Golday. Excuse me. And now they're at pick 108.
Yeah, Denver hasn't made a lot of moves this offseason, and yet I find myself liking what they've done. I think going out and getting Jalen Waddle was a great missing piece to that offense. I've considered tight end for them just to give them another explosive element, but there's a player here that I like, and I'm going to take, and I've already alluded to this, I'm going to take Austin Barber, the tackle from Florida. And I say that because Sean Payton, when he was with the Saints, consistently invested in the offensive line. That was a position that they drafted before it ever became a need. And they were accustomed to using those premium draft picks to address the offensive line. So I'm going to build out the depth here, give them a player that can step in the event of injury. Unfortunately, that kind of derailed their season this past year. So let's build out a little bit on that offensive line.
Yeah, Austin Barber was actually a lot of fun to watch. Not a lot of folks talking about him. So this feels like a little bit of value here. All right, JP, pushing the pile continues here. Monster Delane, Caleb Lomu, and then we had Mike take Gabe Yakus at 40, and then Jayshawn Barham at 74. So Spagnuolo is cooking here. So I don't know what you're thinking about here. Pick 109.
So 109, I'm thinking either receiver or I'm going secondary again, just to sort of give them some more lift in that area. I want to check if a player is available. Can you go to safety for me?
And I should know, this is for the Chiefs, in case I didn't say that, in case you're listening.
I'm going to go Kamari Ramsey. I'm a huge fan of Kamari Ramsey. I think if you watched him in 2025, he was playing a lot more nickel because of all the injuries that happened at USC. But I think he's a better free safety than he is a nickel. His tape at 2024 showed a guy that played with a lot of urgency. And I think he wore a lot of hats at USC, and I think that's something that Spags wants in his secondary. So you get a guy like Mansour Delane, you get Kamari Ramsey, and you've gotten a lot younger, and you've also gotten a lot faster.
And look, Chiefs fans will tell you they don't like they do Trent McDuffie, but they can find talent in the secondary outside of the first round, and I think this is a good example of that. All right, Josh, you weren't kidding. You're picking again Bengals, and then you're back with the Broncos.
Yeah, so looking at the Bengals, defense heavy, of course, I think was kind of the expectation coming into this. Landing Caleb Downs where they did was a fantastic value. Do you consider, adding another player to the offense? I'm going to say, actually, you know what? Let's look at the interior defensive line real quick. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of good options there. I'm going to go with Darrell Jackson Jr. Put him on that Bengals defense. You've already got Romello Height in this class. You've got Brandon Cisse, Caleb Downs, of course. So we all know what Joe Burrow can do when he's healthy and available. Let's just go throw assets at the defense and hope that it all comes together in 2026.
All right, Golday was the second-round pick, the linebacker out of Cincinnati. You just took Austin Barber, the tackle out of Florida, and now Denver is back on the clock once again.
Yeah, and the other player that I was kind of torn between, again, Striker, if you could go to the defensive tackle group. Tyler Unyedem is there for them. They, of course, lost John Franklin Myers in free agency. This is a team that prides itself in its defensive line being able to hold up at the point of attack. Now that you've kind of removed a piece from that group, I'm going to add a player to that group and keep the depth at the defensive tackle position. Let's go with Tyler Unyedem there.
Nice. All right. I'm picking for the Dallas Cowboys. And JP, I'll ask you this. I'm curious what you think. I posed this to Pete Prisco after the first two picks for the Cowboys, Ruben Bain Jr., Jamad McCoy. I set the over-under wins for Dallas, knowing those two picks, not even the third pick there, Brendan Thompson, who I love, at 11.5. Over or under?
Ooh, that is a great question. I'm gonna go over.
Yes.
I think Dallas's offense is ready to win a Super Bowl. I think they bring back everybody, including an offensive line that was really good. They bring back George Pickens. They brought back Javonte Williams. CeeDee Lamb is going to have another year healthy. But you add Reuben Bain to that defense. You add Jamal McCoy when he's healthy, and you've immediately answered two of your biggest questions on that defensive side of the ball. Can you stop the run? Can you get some complimentary pass rush? And then can you slow people down in the passing game? And I think Jamal McCoy, when he's healthy, might be the best value of any pick because his 2024 tape might be the best cornerback tape in this class overall. So I think if they're able to get away with Bain and McCoy, then they do become one of the Super Bowl favorites.
Yeah, we'll see, man. But it feels like it'd be pretty hard to mess up. And it's sort of funny because everyone's fine with no one's talking about the Michael Parsons trade anymore. They get these things right, which is sort of crazy.
I mean, it's funny because they have experience in doing this. Because when you think about what they did last year with Shuvon Ruvel, you had to kind of wait and see, and they brought him along slowly. And this gives McCoy a chance to come along slowly. And again, one of the worst things that happen in this country is Adrian Peterson bouncing back quickly from an ACL because we just rubber stamp. Oh yeah, everybody can return. Like no, everybody body different, man. So it's cool to see them have experience and they can bring McCoy along slowly.
That's funny you mentioned Adrian Peterson because a couple years ago we had on the team doctor, the head he wasn't a doctor, but the head of the medical staff for the Vikings when Adrian Peterson. He worked with Adrian Peterson. Maybe he was in Washington when he did it because that's when Adrian tore it, I think, in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
No, sorry, they were playing Washington. That's where he got hurt. Either way, he did the rehab with Adrian Peterson, and the things and this guy's been doing this for 20 years. The things that Adrian were doing like 2 months after ACL, and obviously too, Emory, you've suffered that injury. 2 months out, you're not running full sprints like you're being chased by a grizzly bear. But that's what Adrian Peterson was giving you. Okay, so here's what I'm doing here. Let's look at linebacker. I think I'm going to take my guy here, but just to build some suspense. I know we talked a lot about the other Alabama linebacker, Deontay Lawson. I like Justin Jefferson a lot, man. I'm going to take Justin Jefferson here as a DeMarvion Overshown insurance selection. He's not that juiced up, but he's a really good athlete, sideline to sideline guy. So I love that pick for them there. And then the Colts, I'm picking for them. R. Mason Thomas, Elijah Surratt. I'm sort of laughing because like Carson Beck feels like the next iteration of the Daniel Jones experiment, but I'm not going to do that. That would be that's a little too soon for Daniel Jones. Let me see, though. Let's go. I've taken an edge. I've taken the wide receiver. Let's go back to the linebackers because I think they have a need there. And obviously, I might even consider DT. Let me double check. So let's go to defensive line striker. I'm just going to add some depth here, get best player available. And I'm going to take Grayson Halton. He's sub 300, but I think he plays with some twitch and he's a one gap guy. And I like him in certain situations, certain pass situations. So I'm going to roll with him here as a depth piece. All right, Emory, finally back to you. You're the Philadelphia Eagles, who thus far have been pretty solid with this draft class.
Not bad. Let's go through your offensive line. I know we don't have Jeff Stoutland no more. So, Cronover is a good pick. Stowers gives them. So the Eneman I'm a big fan of. Give you kind of replace Reed Blankenship. Keep scrolling down. So we only got. This is interior offensive line. All right, go to defensive line.
You yelling at the IT guy during the middle of the draft.
Gotta get this thing. Gotta get it queued up, ready to go. I feel like depth on either side. I like Brandon Cleveland. I feel like Cleveland can kind of hover over different spots on the inside. Kind of give you a little bit of pass rush presence. Just stockpiling that depth. They didn't get a receiver. I guess they're counting Stowers as a receiver. Let's go receivers right quick, Striker. Because again, if they get rid of AJ Brown, I know they brought in Hollywood Brown, and also they brought in Wicks, but they still keep the guy. You know what? I'll go defense. I'll take Copeland.
Well, who are you grabbing?
Brandon Cleveland. I'm sorry.
Oh, gotcha. Brandon Cleveland at NC State. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Yeah, this is the point again. Good football players. All right, Josh, you're the Ravens, and I think this draft has been pretty solid for them in this mock draft.
Yeah, without question. I'd love to add a defensive tackle here. Honestly, I was considering Grayson Halton until you took him. But you know what? Let's go with the running backs. They lost Keaton Mitchell in free agency, so yeah,
there are a lot of guys out there.
A lot of guys at the running back position.
I think we've only had four. We only had 4 running backs off the board thus far.
And I think that checks out. I mean, I think that's like a real life scenario where if we're through the first 2 days of the draft with 4 running backs, that wouldn't be a surprise whatsoever. Yeah. Mike Washington Jr., he's a personal favorite, but do you take him here and have like a Derrick Henry Thunder and Thunder?
Yes.
You're kind of missing the lightning that Mitchell was, but I think just because of the value, you don't know how much longer Derrick Henry is going to play. Let's go with Mike Washington. If nothing else, we have a contingency plan.
As a resident running back, Emory, how are you with Mike Washington here?
Well, listen, my comp for him was Amon Green, both the things that you like and also the areas that you were worried about. Both of those guys had those fumbling concerns. Amon had that. Remember, he started his career in Seattle. He was drafted by Seattle, started as a kick returner before getting, some reps behind Sean Alexander. They trade him to Green Bay, and then he blossoms and blooms, but he always had the issue of putting the ball on the turf. Now, you rip off 60, 70-yard runs, I may be willing to look past a few fumbles, but you can't keep putting the ball on the ground. But this makes sense for Baltimore because anytime you pair an explosive running back with a mobile quarterback, greatness happens. And I think that's something that's been shown. Look at Vic with Dunn. Look at CJ2K. He was CJ2K with Vince Young, CJ1K with everybody else. And then you look at what, Lamar has done for Gus Edwards' career and, Derrick Henry. And Saquon with Jalen. So I just feel like that makes so much sense with Baltimore.
All right, Emory, you are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers picking for the mighty Strikers.
Love the first 2 picks. Stoops give you a little bit of crossover ability. Mesidor, and I totally flopped on or flipped on age. Like at the end of the day, we used to say rubber stamp. Oh, if this guy's gonna be your insert player here for the next 7 to 8 years. Like, man, if you get 3 years out these dudes, you're good. You know what I'm saying? Because we've seen guys get drafted. I'm watching a UFL game and dudes drafted in 2024. I'm like, geez, like they just don't wait. So they get you up out the paint. So I love the first 2 picks. I feel like Tampa could also use, I know this may be a little bit high. I feel like they could use better backup play. Beck is, the value is here for Beck. So I'll take Carson Beck right here in round 4.
Yeah.
I can't trust Drake Browning.
I like Carson Beck on day 2, but the more I talk to people, the more it sounds like he might be destined for day 3, and that's just the reality of it, given how the last couple of years went for him. All right, JP, back-to-back, you are the Raiders and the Lions.
So with the Raiders here, I'm thinking corner again. I like Keith Abney, but I wonder if he's more of a nickel than he is a true outside corner. I'm also thinking safety here as well because I think they could use some more depth there. Man, this is really fascinating. I'm going between a few guys here. The first one is Ephesians Price Hawk from Washington. He is very similar to Darian Porter in terms of size, speed, length. It feels a little bit more like a Pete Carroll kind of pick at corner. And you already have Eric Stokes. VJ Payne is a really fascinating guy to me. He's got sort of underrated at Kansas State because of the down season they have, but he's also a very impressive athlete, can play a bunch of different positions. I also wonder if maybe he might be more of an outside corner. I wonder if you give him a shot there. I think I've kind of talked myself into it. It might be a little high. I'm going to go VJ Payne.
Thank you.
Safety from Kansas State here.
I'm a huge VJ Payne guy, and Rand talked me out of him being even higher. And we'll see if that island sinks or if it thrives. All right, back to you, Detroit Lions. Caden Proctor and Chris Johnson, pretty good 2 first-round picks there, or 2 first picks, I should say.
If you're getting Proctor and Chris Johnson in first 2 rounds, we can go ahead and start drumming back up the Lions band. Let me go to edge here. I think they could use another complimentary guy to. Oh, perfect. I'm going to go deny Dennis Sutton from Penn State. He fits what they look for in terms of size, length, measurables. I think he, at the combine, he kind of impressed me with his 3-cone and his ability to change direction. I do think he's more of a designated pass rusher right now. I think his run game stuff is a little bit up and down, but he fits what they look for in terms of body type and can be a nice complementary pass rusher to Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, no, that's a great pick. And this feels maybe 20 picks is the range where we might see Dennis Sutton come off the board here. So that feels right. All right, Emory, you are the Carolina Panthers here. Emmanuel McNeil Warren, Malachi Lawrence, and then Malachi Fields. So you got to find someone whose name is Malachi apparently to draft.
Man, like how come the teams I get, everybody been drafting terrible? All right, go to cornerback. Low key, quiet as kept. When I see the Panthers, like I feel like they always get banged up in the secondary. So one of the guys that has some the best ball skills out there is Hezekiah Massis. Like, give me him. Like, I know Cal wasn't good as a team collectively, but man, Massis is outstanding on the in terms of read recognition, driving and playing the football. So get them some insurance there on the back end.
Thank you. Yeah, I like Massis a lot too, and I've been saying it all day here. There's so many long outside corners in this class, and one of the issues is that they're handsy, but that's because college football allows them to be handsy.
Right. That's something that right, because
Yeah.
you see that a lot. You see that, you like, all right, in my notes, I'm like, okay, it's gonna have to tighten that up when you get to the league. That's a walking penalty, but
right. All right, let's see here. Let me see running backs real quick, and I'm gonna look at wide receivers because usually you take one in the second round if you're. So, I think
wow.
I'm taking Katron Allen here. I'm not going to overthink it. I like Katron a lot. I like Adam Randall a little bit better, but it depends on what you're working with, and I like just Katron as a David Montgomery type bulldozer, not going to be dancing around, and also producer striker is Penn State through and through. So
he got like a lot of teams. Like Striker got like a team in every sport, man. Like, how you do that?
Well, at least Striker went to Penn State. Producer Sharon has 27 teams that he likes, and he didn't go to any of it. All right, JP, you're picking from a Pittsburgh Steelers here, and BMAC took Omar Cooper Jr. in the first round, and then Mike got Blake Miller, Keontae Scott, Zion Young, and Nuss Bus. And I think this is a pretty solid draft for the Steelers.
Zion Young at 85 is incredible value for what he is. I'm sort of thinking linebacker here. I think depending on the future of Patrick Queen, I think they could use a more of a green dot because Peyton Wilson has a lot of range. I think he has a lot of athleticism. They want him to be sort of their coverage guy. And when I think of green dots and I think of Pittsburgh Steeler, Bryce Betcher comes to mind. He is the pinnacle green dot. And his story is so cool, being a baseball player who got drafted, came back to Oregon, and just some of the stuff that he does in the run game where he's quick to diagnose. I think that's going to fit really well as sort of the thumper if you want to bring him in short term, like short yardage situations. Or if Patrick Queen does move on, then you have a guy that you can be the Mike next to Peyton Wilson.
No, I like that a lot.
Betcher has that high neck roll too, that old school aesthetic that's fitting really well. Absolutely. And he's a center fielder too. So he's got a lot of range there at the linebacker position. He's one of my favorites in this class for sure.
All right. This is just where I remind everyone that the quarterbacks are coming off at a slow trickle. So just not necessarily JP has to take one for Atlanta here. They have two and obviously Michael Penix Jr. But just as we get through this thing, because, there's a lot of talk about Cole Payton, for example.
Because he's lefty.
So strikers Drew Aller is still there. Cade Klubnik, so on and so on. All right, the Falcons, back to you. They've only had 3 picks because the James Pierce Jr. pick, and you could argue edge might be a need too, JB.
I'm going to look at edge here because they are going to need that pass rush help. I also sort of love the receiver board here. I still think Skylar Bell is available, and that's a really, really fascinating pick here if I do choose him for the Falcons. But I'm also looking at Joshua Josephs here, and he has some of the most fascinating tools in this class. He's a younger guy. He doesn't really affect the run game. I think some of his awareness against the run is really off. But when you have long arms and you're fluid like Joshua Josephs, I still think you can turn up that pass rush as much as possible. I'm going to pick Joshua Josephs here.
Nice. All right, Josh, you are the LA Chargers. Did some work on the offensive line. Lige took Emmanuel Pregnon, and then Trey Zune, who can maybe kicks into center, but he can, if nothing else, provide depth because they have, the injury history seems to follow them around along the offensive line. But it's now up to you at pick 123.
Yeah, if this is not a classic Jim Harbaugh draft at this point, I don't know what is. You've taken 3 trench players, which is the way that he would love it. But I will say, let me see who's available at cornerback, Striker, if you wouldn't mind. Yeah, got a lot of size in this group. I'm going to go with Dalen Everett out of Georgia. Harbaugh loves those, pedigree guys. Let's add some competition to the cornerback room, a group that honestly they've been able to kind of squeeze all the juice out of that lemon so far. So to add some competition to that room, I think is a good value here, early 3rd round or early 4th round rather.
All
He's
right,
a
JP.
big game player too. Dalen Everett always shows up in big moments for Georgia. Love that pick there.
All right, JP, I'm picking for your Jaguars here, so I'm going to lean on you. First, I'll ask you quickly, how would you grade this draft so far? Because they don't have a ton of needs, and I'm a little hesitant. I'm going to have Jenny Dunker kick inside too.
Yeah, Dunker inside is probably where I would like him most. I wasn't as impressed with his tape, but I do think if he's going to have an NFL future, it's going to be a guard. Anthony Hill Jr. is really fascinating because he has some of the most high-end athleticism in this class, but I also think his vision at the linebacker spot is still probably needs a couple of years. And I also think they might like Ventrell Miller. So if you have Anthony Hill Jr. sort of like rotating in, he could be good he's sort of like a draft and stash. In the NBA, you draft a guy and you're like, we're going to wait for a couple of years. You're going to play overseas. That's Anthony Hill Jr. I love Rayshawn Benny for what he is and what he can be in that defense. I think here I'm thinking tight end. And I'm thinking because of how much they want to be in 12 personnel, because Johnny Munt is no longer on the team. It's really Brenton Strange, who's up for an extension, Hunter Long, and Quentin Morris. The guy that I've had circled.
Let me guess. Are we looking for a blocking tight end?
We are.
So we're going with Nate Borkircher, aren't we?
Well, another guy from the Senior Bowl, different Senior Bowl guy, but he was also in consideration. I was thinking Sam Roush.
Oh, let's go with Sam then. Love it. All right. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, he has some really fun reps against Ruben Bain in the Miami game and as a run blocker. Some really fascinating stuff that he does despite having shorter arms. The biggest thing is his pass game diet has been so limited because he was at Stanford. And he also has some drop issues, but in Jacksonville, you're just going to ask him to beat the crap out of other guys as a run blocker.
Love it. All right, Emory, you are the New England Patriots. Jacob Rodriguez was Rand's first-round pick, Dom Orange, and then Logan Jones.
Oh, man.
I love that you don't like these picks.
Well, no. I love Orange and Jones. Rodriguez seems a little bit kind of like Dunker to me, where we like the idea and, you kind of create a character to kind of shade people away from the tape. Like, oh, I got this cool mullet. Oh, I got this thick Tom Selleck mustache. Don't look at me not making all these tackles. So I get it. But I will say, let's go to tight end.
It's a deep. I mean, there's some dudes at tight end. I mean, there's not going to be any Brock Bowers, but on day 3, you're going to get some value.
There's 2 guys I really like. Actually, my number 2 flex guy is here in Jolly.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with the H-back because I kind of like what they have already. But they I know Justin Hill is an H-back, but give me Joe Royer. I think he's underrated in this class.
I thought you were going to go with Riley Nowakowski the way you were talking about it.
No, there's a guy there but obviously this is a deep sleeper. But there's a deep sleeper that's gonna be nice. But I'll save that for another show.
The sad thing is you used to yell at this draft or the PFF draft board. This is my draft board. So when you start doing the deep cut,
no wonder. No, you know what I'm saying? No wonder.
All right, Josh, you're the Buffalo Bills. We'll let Emory cool down real quick.
So my train of thought here is offensive guard or linebacker. Looking at the players that are available at offensive guard, I don't love the group as much as some of the appeal at linebacker. So Striker, if you could go to the linebackers, please. Jim Leonard, new defensive coordinator. I think fulfilling this role is going to be really important to the success of his defense. Can you scroll down a little bit? Let's see if this guy, I think he's still there. Let's go with, it's kind of a deep sleeper. I'm going to go with Keyshawn Elliott from Arizona State. May seem a little early for him, but I think this is about the range that he's going to go in real time. They need another body in that linebacker room, so I'm going to go with the Sun Devil here.
You know who you remind
man?
me
He's a good player.
Yeah, he is. He reminds me so much of Channing Crowder. Like he be flying sideline to sideline, and he arrives like in with a problem.
You know, he gets downhill so quickly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the thing, and I was just gonna say, the thing for me when I put the board together is that I try to think about how this translates, especially at the position, how teams are going to value these players. So that's why I had a little further down. So you're exactly right, though, Josh. He could certainly go off the board much sooner than where I had him here. All right, Emory, San Francisco 49ers. Kenneth Sadiq and Connor Lew. Those feel like two pretty good freaking picks.
Not bad like that. Can we move the team from San Francisco to like, Sacramento, somewhere away from that power station? Because I don't want these dudes to get hurt. I love the offensive focus because I feel like San Francisco defensively has done a really good job in drafting. I do want to backfill the depth on the defensive line in terms of edge rusher. Can we go to edge rusher striker? Because Michael Williams, who I liked a lot last year, was my number 1 4-3 defensive end. He's coming off injury. Funny quick story about Tucker. I was excited watching his tape, right? Then I'm putting him into putting his profile together, and I saw he was born in 2000. Like, come on, bro. Like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, of course you dominating. You know what I'm saying? So I got to stay away from that.
Hold on. Don't talk too much about 2000.
Right. Listen, that was my sophomore year. That's my sophomore year in college. You know what I'm saying? That's Ja Rule and J-Lo. You know, I'm real. That's the velour sets. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ryan don't know about that. Let's go edge rusher. I keep scrolling. Oh, that's all you got. Oh, give me Mason Rager. Again, you love when guys stand out in an all-star game. Because my first viewing of these guys when I dive in the draft is the all-star game circuit before I go back to the film. So when obviously he had the 3 sacks in the Shrine Bowl MVP. So I'm like, all right, is he a practice All-American? But when I go back to the tape, he's doing exactly what he did during the week of work at the Shrine Bowl. So I like Mason Rager. So he'll be a good rotational edge guy for San Francisco.
Yeah, Pete's a big Mason Rager fan as well. All right, JP, Lions and then the Bears back-to-back for you. You took Denai Dennis Sutton for Detroit just a moment ago. Now back to you.
So the thing about Detroit is they need depth everywhere, but especially on the defensive side of the ball, and especially at corner. They have not been able to stay healthy at corner. And with Chris Johnson, I think they're going to get a lot of really fun play, I think, opposite of DJ Reed or whatever happens with Terry and Arnold. I'm thinking now about a guy that could possibly play in the slot. So I'm also thinking safety here to give them some more matchup versatility. This is really fascinating. So I don't think I like the safety board here for Detroit. Let's go be big. We're gonna be big here. We're gonna go and do what they love to do in Detroit with the run game. I'm gonna get some more depth along the offensive line. I'm gonna go Jeremiah Wright.
Oh yes, my guy.
Like that.
You can never go wrong taking big guys.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, back to you, Chicago Bears.
Chicago is, again, another very fascinating team because they've said they want to get faster in the secondary. And because they lost Nahshon Wright in free agency, I'm going to go with Ephesians Prysock here. I think he fits exactly what they would like in terms of length. He also is a guy that can be a little grabby, but when you want to play as much man coverage, when you want to try and be physical at the line of scrimmage as much as Dennis Allen wants him to be, I think Ephesians Prysock is a guy that I'd let him try at corner and see what happens because not many guys are that big and can move like that.
That's right. All right, Emory, you're doubling up. You're the Dolphins and then the Patriots.
Okay. Let's see what the Dolphins drafted, so I could fuss at it. You know what? The Dolphins did all right. Who been drafted for whoever been drafted for
This
the
is
Dolphins?
Rand. Rand's been drafted for the Dolphins.
Ran all right in my book, man, because he got Pons, Boston, Fano, Wheatley. I'm a big fan of Claire. Very underrated because that's the guy I told you about, Ryan, where he was at Purdue, and then he ended up transferring and did much of nothing at Ohio State.
Right.
So they did a good job. All right, let's go to guard. Can we type in Jalen Farmer? That's my number one guard in this class. And right here, oh, look at that. Ideal. Give me this dude. His tape is almost, you know how when you coach it up, like, hey, keep your hands inside, keep your feet moving through contact, stay low, get good deep in. He does all that. And when you watch that game versus Georgia, the entire offensive line was solid. And I was surprised they stunk as offense, but offensive line wise, Kentucky was really good. You know, and
the real game is going to be
hands.
Yeah, very strong hands.
The real game is going to be, as we get deeper into the weeds here, how many times Emory calls a name that isn't on the big board. So let's see how that goes. All right, well, Emory, back to you. New
that's
England.
A you problem, Ryan. That's a you problem. You know what I'm saying?
I got a lot of me problems.
All right, let's go. This was tough because I looked at interior offensive line. I was going to go there for them, but I like what they've done in free agency. But you still can't, you know, one of my pet peeves is hearing people complain when it's like week 9 about we don't have no offensive line help, blah, 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 blah. So let's just keep adding offensive linemen for New England. Go interior offensive line. Wade was solid this year. Give me Burton. Feel like Burton gives you a little bit of crossover ability from Kentucky. Again, the offensive line of Kentucky was good. They just stunk as an offense collectively. This kind of helps you. I feel like he can be a guard and or a center. I know Logan Jones is strictly a center in my eyes, my number one center in the class, so I wanted to go interior offensive line again.
I thought Josh was a Kentucky guy. You used to getting kickbacks from Kentucky with those back-to-back Kentucky picks.
Listen, I was a big Sloan Stevens guy. I called a lot of his games when he was at Bishop McDevitt in high school. I was surprised he didn't get the opportunity next step on the depth chart at quarterback, but we'll see where he ends up.
All right. New Orleans Saints. These are your team. This is your team, right, Emory? You still a Saints fan or not really?
Not real. I just like being right. I don't root for nobody no more.
Oh, in that case.
It takes to be right.
Yeah. Take your time getting back on the bandwagon. They're getting there. They're turning the corner. So
no. I will say this though. In high school, I was the only growing up through high school and in college. I was the only official Saints fan, and everybody around me was 49er fans, Commander fans, Steeler fans, Cowboy fans. All of a sudden, Katrina hit. Now we have these since 2006 Saints fans. People on Facebook face painting everything. Like, hold on, you was a Bills fan growing up. Now you die hard. Who that? Like, what's this? Like, so me and the Saints fan base have a little bit of a rift.
I just think you're out there looking for trouble. I mean, you don't want to stay in your lane.
I just bring people. I show people the mirror, and I hold them to that standard.
All right, let's see here. Let's look at best player available striker. Let's look at safety. Actually, sorry, because I think that yeah, I like this guy a lot more than other people. I don't care. I'm gonna take Kendall Daniels here. I like his versatility. He played a ton of slot at 245, and he didn't time well during the pre-draft process. But you know what? Neither did Kyle Hamilton. So it can work out for you. All right. Kendall Daniels here to the Saints, getting some depth. Emory, back to you for the 49ers.
Can we go wide receiver? Listen, I like his vertical game. Give me Reggie Virgil.
There we go.
I feel like Virgil does a good job. Once he gets off the line of scrimmage in his stem, he can accelerate. He plays faster than what he ran in the 40-yard dash. That's someone that could track the ball and continue to extend that separation. Good vertical deep threat for San Francisco.
Yeah, and that was their first wide receiver in this draft too. They did get Kenny Sadiq, of course. All right, Raiders comp, Steelers comp. We're in the comp portion of the 4th round. Is back to you, JP.
So here, I feel like doubling up on receiver might be a little redundant, but I love this player. So you just keep adding guys for Fernando Mendoza to throw to. I love Skylar Bell. I love watching him play. I love the stuff they can do out of the slot. And I think he complements well with Zachariah Branch doing sort of the gadgety receiver stuff out of the slot. I think Skylar Bell does sort of the real, like, some of the stuff that he can do from the slot in terms of creating separation downfield is really cool. So I think you just got to keep giving Fernando Mendoza some weapons.
All right, back to my Steelers here. got Bryce Betcher with your first pick for the Steelers, and I like their class thus far.
All right, so Steelers are here. They've already picked Nussmeier, so quarterback is already. We've already addressed the quarterback position, at least for 2026, maybe. I am also going to look. I'm also going to look at receiver again just to build out the depth in the receiver room because that receiver room just doesn't have a lot of that. And this is a guy that I sort of like watching him again. It's Josh Cameron from Baylor.
Yes.
Big, physical. I don't think he got a lot of play at Baylor, largely because like Baylor just overall was sort of a weird year for them, but he fits sort of the special teams, the physicality. He can be depth on the outside as Omar Cooper Jr. does sort of the number 3 slot receiver stuff.
And by the way, Roman Wilson hasn't exactly found his niche yet. He's going into year 3, so I'm all on board with that. All right, back to me.
He shouldn't have been wearing that 36. That's what did him in.
Yeah, no, you're right. That was a weird look. I think he had a reason. What was the reason for it? I think he had a pretty good reason for it because I looked it up.
It's probably sentimental, so I won't hear it. But I just know, you know what I'm saying? The joke works. So I don't want to take back the joke if it was up sentimental.
I get it. No, I get it. All right, let's look at defensive tackle here real quick. I just see how far down the road. I'm going to take Devin Eastern. Excuse me. I like Devin Eastern. Ray and I talked about him recently on the podcast. He wasn't as big a fan as me, but that's okay. He's gone, so he doesn't have to. He can't say anything to me. But I'm just going to keep getting good players, like Emory says, and then figure it out later. All right, Emory, back to you. 3 more picks, and then we get to Josh to round this thing out. You're with the Eagles and 49ers back-to-back picks.
It's interesting. Philly. I love what Philly did last year in terms of the undrafted free agents. They got 2 guys that I really like. Holland Pierce of Rutgers, big tall tackle. They're gonna kick him inside the guard. And they got my from the Rams, got my number 1 center, Willie Lampkin. So excited to see what he does this year. So let's go back to the edge rushers or defensive line. I'm sorry. It's interesting, man. Keep scrolling down because at this point you just got to take talented guys that can ball. Go to edge rusher for me, striker, if you may. Gracias. Continue to scroll. Caden Curry. Give me Caden Curry. Love him.
I tell you what, you are on the Pete Prisco thing. Rager and Curry are his 2 guys, and y'all guys must be on a text thread together.
He reminds me of those those short, squatty edge guys that can hold an edge. You know what I mean? Like that's something that can come in handy on both ends of defense, in my opinion.
Leverage guys.
Yep, very much leverage guys.
All right, back to you. Back-to-back picks, the 49ers.
All right, everybody.
You just said Reggie Virgil and Mason Rager before that in round 4. They got 2 more 4th rounders.
Right. So let's see where they always get banged up. Let's go to the backfield. See what we can find. All right,
guys.
So not only you gotta this is how you do San Francisco. Who always get what area always get hurt? So we hear it in the front of back room. Who's the fastest? So if we looking at by the 49ers metrics, I can go Robert Henry or I can go Singleton. I think Singleton would be ideal because I like big backs that can return kicks. Give me Nicholas Singleton.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. If he got to stay healthy, but we're working from the premise that everyone's going to be healthy in this draft we're doing here. All right, what the 49ers going to do with the next pick?
All right.
So they still don't have a left tackle if you're trying to plan post-Trent.
Oof. Then my guy is here, obviously. Markel Bell. Let's go to tackle. Miami. 6'8", long arms, toy with defenders all the time. Give me Markel Bell.
There you go.
He's also such a cool dude to talk to. My friend and I talked to him at the Senior Bowl, and we were just like, man, how do you fit on airplanes? And he looked at us and was just like, poorly.
That's when you have to get an NIL deal with NetJets or something because you can't be sitting coach trying to fly Southwest.
You got to get like the private jets.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. All right, Josh. Bring it home in the round 4 here with the New York Jets. You took Casey earlier in the 4th round, which is a really good pick for them. What do you want to do here?
Striker, let's go to the cornerbacks. Okay, scroll down a little bit. Actually, right there. We'll go with Houston's Latrell McCutcheon Sr. You're adding to that cornerback room, which obviously you traded away Sauce Gardner at the trade deadline, created a need there at the position. As they continue to add competition to essentially every position on the roster, we're now going to get a longer quarterback that can also be this player that sees ball, gets ball for that defense.
He's a fun player too, man.
Yeah, it's a great pick. I loved his tape versus Arizona State.
All right, round 4 is in the books. We're going to get to round 5 here, and producer Stryker has informed me we're doing 45 seconds or so to get through these things. If you hear the ticking clock, that means you're going to get Mike Teist if you don't make the pick. So, all right, here we go. Cleveland is on the clock. So, Josh. Wait, is that right? Cleveland? No. Houston, sorry. Yeah, I was like, wait, what? All right, here we go. Back-to-back picks for me, Houston, and then Tennessee. So Houston has taken Emmett Johnson was their last pick. So this is just going to be a situation of best available, I think, in large part. I'm going to take Jude Bowery here. I think he gives you versatility, tackle, maybe guard, underrated, good tape. So let's not overthink it with that. And now the Tennessee Titans here. Let's see tight end because, they have Gunnar Helm, who's a really good player. I described Jack Indries as a poor man's Gunnar Helm, so I don't know if we need 2 Gunnar Helms on the roster, but I think I'm going to double check here, but I think I know who I'm taking here. I might take Emory's guy as long as I. So they signed Daniel Bollinger, and they have Kylan Granson. Like, Bellinger's a good player. Kylan Granson, I think there's no guarantee that he's let's see best available one more time just so I can make sure that I'm doing the thing I need to be doing. Yeah, let's take Justin Jolie. I want to get a little more Chikakonkwo juice back in that room since he is now elsewhere. Okay, there we go. All right, Emory, Arizona Cardinals to you.
All right, let's go to the backfield. Add another explosive talent, Robert Henry. Give me that player from UTSA, amazing speed, zone read in the future with him and Taylor Green, 88 out the gate touchdown.
All right. Next up, we're moving now. Back to me, Tennessee Titans. All right, let's take just so you guys know, I was telling Rand to not worry about me, and he said he's still listening, so he texted me to tell him to quit talking junk. So let's look at the linebackers real quick here, Stryker. Yeah, let's take Torrey and York. Let's get a little linebacker help as well here. And then, JP, you are the New York Football Giants.
Oh, boy. All right, so we're up with the Giants. They haven't taken a linebacker yet. Give me Caleb Elarms-Orr from TCU.
Nice. Yeah, this linebacker class is so deep. It's nuts. All right, Josh. You were picking for your Cleveland Browns. That Oscar Del Pip was a really good pick. I do sort of jealous of that.
This isn't can you just confirm that Chris Bell is gone? I didn't see him in the sheet.
You know what? He may be there. He is. I have him way down. I'm not a huge Chris Bell guy, and he's hurt.
I mean, I'm going Chris Bell. This is great value at this point. Yeah, it's a pretty easy pick for me.
All right, fair enough. I'm not going to get mad at you on that one. All right, we are up to the Commanders. Emory, back to you, sir.
It's a good 1-2 right there for Washington, but I feel like O-line depth is going to be paramount for these guys. Go to offensive guard, interior offensive line. I will go. I could be a company man. I like Micah Morris, man. Give me Micah Morris.
Oh, okay. I still got him. He made the list, so that's a win for me.
List. You done good.
Done good. Kansas City Chiefs. That is you, JP.
Go to receiver, and I'm mad that Josh picked Chris Bell because I was hoping that Chris Bell would fall to Kansas City here. Oh man, they need size. I'm actually gonna go Jeff Caldwell here.
Oh, let's go.
We're gonna go big, tall, fast. And if you're looking for big, tall, fast, he is the biggest, tallest, and fastest.
Checking boxes.
He may not be where you want him to be, but he'll be somewhere down there.
He'll be down there. Just find a guy with the long arms.
All right, Josh, back to you with the Cleveland Browns. Chris Bell
let's
feels
go
like
off-
such a Chiefs pick too, like Juju Smith-Schuster, like Rashee Rice. But you got him. All right, Josh.
Let's go offensive tackle. Let's go with Travis Burke.
Oh, that's a good. That's a big Prisco guy. He's been talking about for a while. I'm not as high on him as everyone, but that's okay. I don't need to be. All right, back to your New Orleans Saints here. I'm going to take. Let's go with Will Lee the third. Just going to add some good football players on the outside. Texas A&M cornerback, and not overthink it here. And Saints fans, you can let me know in the comments how much you dislike it. I'm okay with that. If you would take another player at that position. Miami Dolphins, back to you, Emory.
All right. Since I took over the sticks, I've been cooking with this Dolphins. So let's see if we can continue to stockpile talent. All right. I love the backfield. Love the, you know what? Let's go wide receiver. I think they have to compete out there. Cyrus Allen.
Yeah, so they've gotten Denzel Boston previously, but to your point, there's plenty of needs.
There's needs and there's opportunities. Scroll down. I know. Oh wow! Give me Bryce Lance. You know,
yeah, I'm not a big Bryce Lance guy, but that doesn't mean he's not a good player.
Yeah, he's someone that's he looks the part of a big tall receiver that can get vertical, but he's a catch and run guy. It gives him a guy that got a little shake to him. He may be 40, but at least he can still run at his advanced age.
He is a little older. That is true. All right, back to the Dallas Cowboys here. Let me double check one thing because I have an idea of where I'm leaning. Let me see edge real quick, striker, just to make sure I'm not missing anyone. So I'm going to take LT Overton here just to add more depth. Emory scared me off on the Dame Tucker because he doesn't like old people. So,
boy, who was born when Fruitopia was a popular drink.
Man, leave him alone. What has he done to you? And then Green Bay is back on the clock here. And let's see what we want to do here.
Shout out to Fruitopia, though.
Oh, here, I know what I'm going to do. Let's go to edge again. I might just do this to spite Emory. Let's see if I'm going to take Tucker here. Just get a little situational pass rusher. Scroll down a little bit, striker. Just let me make sure there's not a guy that sort of I'm really. So yeah, okay. So let's go with the Dame Tucker there. Let's give him a little situational love in Green Bay.
Shout out to the 2000s kids.
Yes, thank you. That's right. All right, Josh, Baltimore Ravens.
Let's go to the defensive tackle group, striker, please.
Yeah, and I think Acosta said today they're still not sure where Justin Madubuike is. They won't affect their draft plans, which I took to mean it will 100% affect their draft plans.
Let's go with Albert Regis from Texas A&M.
Oh, you took both of the Texas A&M defensive tackles.
That's right. It was a good team.
Studied one team this year.
Hey, you took two Kentucky interior offensive linemen. You studied one unit.
You took all the Kentucky
He's going to
guys.
take Joshua Braun at some point. It's the only other player he knows.
All right, Emory, now's your chance. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
He took my thunder. I was going to take him. All right, let's go edge rush. You can't go wrong with edge with this team. One of the more frustrating teams to watch is UCF, because you watch UCF, you like every year there's like 15 guys in my draft guide from UCF. You like, how are they not in the playoffs every year? Like, they just don't play well as a team. Give me Kelly. Kelly's a very good defensive end.
Emory, I've been informed via text that Rand Carthon says Emory looks like he's running a bad tax filing office.
I told Rand he put way too much food coloring in his bed. Like, his stuff was up here like way too black. It was like limo tint. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you got to chill out with that.
Yeah. He said to make sure I told you that, and I'm sure he just heard you coming at him. So that'll be something to monitor as we get through this. All right, next up, Kelly goes to the Bucks, and then I am picking for the Colts. Let's see what we want to do here.
Scouting budget cut.
Let's look at the linebacker striker, because that's certainly a need. I'm going to take Xavier Story Jr. I like him out of Arkansas. Gives us some depth there. And then we are now to JP picking for the Lions.
Go to running back because I think, again, very Dan Campbell guy, Adam Randall. Kick return specialist. He runs behind his pads. Real physical guy. I think complements Jahmyr Gibbs well.
Yeah, that's a good call. And he's a good player too. Emory back-to-back picks. You got the Panthers, and then you have the Panthers.
All right, go to quarterback, man. I know I need depth behind franchise quarterback, Bryce Young. So let's see. I mean, you want to go stylistic? Give me America's quarterback right there, Haynes King.
You love you some Haynes King.
Because I see who's sitting there at QB2. I will refuse to go into the season with that as the QB2. So we're going to rectify that with America's finest.
As a Steelers fan, I'm not going to push back on the strays that Kenny Pickett currently is facing. All right, right back to you.
All right, let's go. We did edge. We did receiver. We did corner. We got America back on track with King. All right, let's go wide receiver once again. They got some good guys, but this is when you want someone that could be a game changer. I need a little bit more. It seems like they have a type. So McAllister got size. Could body up some guys. Give me McAllister.
Out of TCU.
Yep. At this point, you're looking for core special teamers. You already drafted, a good one in Fields earlier. So, keep double down on that.
Yeah. So Green Bay Packers are me. Let's look at wide receiver striker. Let's see if there's someone, because they've moved on from a lot of guys. You know what? I'm going to take my guy from the Senior Bowl, JP. I'm taking Tyron Montgomery. Maybe a little rich. He's older than JP. but man, he is a lot of fun. And he's a fun story, too. So let's take Tyron Montgomery.
Somebody brought him up to me at the American Bowl. Was like, hey, man, what you think about Tyron Montgomery? I was like, oh, from Nichols? It was like, no, from John Carroll.
Yeah.
Like, yo, he's still playing? Like,
yeah, what? So he told me that he transferred to John Carroll, and he had not seen press man coverage until he got to the Senior Bowl practices, because those Division III kids are not going to play him in press coverage. That he's facing a lot of zone looks. So, but he looked like he knew what was up. So that was a fun little story here. All right, JP, my Steelers are back on the clock.
Let me see who they've picked already. Thank you, Striker. I'm going to go with Bo Stevens here. Snatch trap God. He has one thing that he does well, and he snatch traps guys so well. So let's get him, play him at guard.
Yeah, and they have a needed guard for sure. That's a good call there. Josh, back to back with you, the Ravens and the Vikings.
Okay, we haven't gone. Let's go. Who's available at corner striker? Obviously took Chandler Rivers, but he's more of a slot at this point. TJ Hall kind of stands out as like being a Ravens type corner. He's bigger, maybe not the fastest guy, but I think somebody that would transition well to that Ravens room. And honestly, there's a couple of young guys in that room that got hurt last year that I really like as well. So we're gonna add some competition to the cornerback room.
Yeah, that's a good call in Hall. I liked him a lot more until I saw his 40 time, and I dinged him a little bit for it. But sometimes we overthink it. So maybe he plays as fast as he looks, and I shouldn't get too hung up on the 40 time. All right, you're with the Vikings here, Josh.
Yeah, and the fact that let's see, Nick Barrett went top 50 overall. That is who took him, because that's a person after my own heart.
That's Lijay. I'm a big Nick Barrett guy too.
Yeah, I love Nick Barrett. My company line has been that if we look back in 10 years and he's still playing in the NFL, it wouldn't surprise me at all. He's just that good of a player. Let's go with the linebacker striker, if you wouldn't mind.
Wow.
I mean, there's some good options available here. I'm going to go with Jimmy Rolder from Michigan, a player that I'm a little bit higher on. He gets stuck on blocks a little bit, but diagnoses defenses really well. He's just a really well-rounded player. Hasn't started a whole lot, so I think there's a little bit more upside there for him as well.
All right, back to JP's Jacksonville Jaguars. And JP, I'll let you guide me here. I would lean. I don't mind Keaton Trost if we're looking for a little tackle depth. But what do you think makes the most sense for your Jacksonville Jaguars?
I think there's a guy that they like at corner that
Okay,
I
let's
would
go.
not be surprised that they draft, and it's Devin Marshall from NC State.
Oh, Devin, yeah. So he's another example of a guy who didn't run well in the pre-draft process, but I liked him a lot on tape. So let's go Devin Marshall. I think he could certainly get drafted around this range, maybe even a little higher when round 5 here. Big physical outside corner. Nice. Thank you for helping me do my homework here. All right, Buffalo Bills for you, Josh.
Let's go. Let's see. We haven't taken an offensive guard yet. Can we look at the interior real quick? Yeah, I mean, Logan Taylor, I like. Is Billy Schrouth still available?
I don't know. Did he make the list? Like, there he is.
There he is. Yeah.
I am the only person on planet Earth not a big Billy Schrouth fan. I know he's getting like top 50 buzz, but yeah, obviously.
Yeah, we had Wilson sweating a little bit, as we get here towards the end. I'm sure there's going to be somebody picked that he doesn't have. I'm going to take Billy Schrouth, Notre Dame.
Yeah, and he could be long.
As it stands, Notre Dame offensive linemen actually, fare pretty well in the NFL, so I feel pretty good about that one.
All right, back to JP's Jacksonville Jaguars, and I say that as I'm the GM, but I'm going to call him and say, what do you want to do here?
I think they also want to try and get faster on the edge. I know they just signed Trayvon Walker to an extension, but they have looked for a specific type of undersized or guy that wins with speed to complement Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker for a long time. So
Who are you thinking about?
Somebody.
I got 2 names I'm thinking about. What are you thinking about?
So at first I'm thinking Quintavious Hutchins because he doesn't have to play on early downs. I wonder if he fits their body types that they like because Anthony Campanelli comes from Green Bay. They have some really specific body types they want on the edge. Vincent Anthony Jr. fits the body type that they want on the edge. So I think I would lean Vincent Anthony here. But there's one more guy that I think you can consider here, and it's Tyreek Sapp from Florida, who just character guy, inside out, wins with power. But if you're looking for a different type of pass rusher, I would say Vincent Anthony.
My write-up on Tyreek Sapp was top 50 run defender and undraftable as a pass rusher. So there's some variance there. When Quintavious Hutchins gets drafted, I'll tell a story that he told me at the combine because he's a fun player too. All right, back to me for the Houston Texans. Oh man, just not a lot of needs here. Best available. Let's do that. So we got Inez Cooper. We have Jude Bowery. I mean, we don't need to take a ton of. Do we get the? All right, let's take a tight end here. So let's look at tight end real quick, just to because I know that is a need for sure. And I'm gonna go with with Jack Hendricks. I'm not going to overthink it here. He's a good player. I was thinking Borkircher for a second, but I'm going to go net Jack Hendricks. And then now, am I on the clock again? No, you are, Josh. Sorry. Okay, you're Buffalo Bills.
They traded away Teron Johnson. They signed D. Alford to play the slot this offseason, but I feel pretty good about this option. Let's go with the cornerbacks striker. Make sure he's still there. I think he is. Jaden Kennedy from Oregon.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that fit a lot.
Talking about slot, I was like, that's Jaden Kennedy.
All right. A little undersized, but it's certainly a good player. Chiefs and JP, up to you.
So there are 2 guys I'm thinking about. One of them strikers at tight end, where I think they could get a little more athletic. The other guy is a linebacker, but I think I might be able to get him later. I'm going to go Eli Raritan here, tight end from Notre Dame. You can walk onto Notre Dame's campus and probably find an NFL caliber tight end somewhere. He's straight line fast. He's got the height, but I think he can play sort of behind Kelsey and Noah Gray as they continue to get younger there.
Yeah, he's another guy that we didn't hear a lot about in the pre-draft process. Then I watched him. I was like, this is a really good football player. All right, Josh, back to you one more time for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I know they have a couple of Sean Payton's pets there at tight end, but let's explore that position a little bit. There's a guy that I think is a little, dynamic that they could add to the offense. Obviously, Jalen Waddle already gives him a little bit of that sideline to sideline speed, but Michael Trigg, is he still available?
He is, and he dropped a little bit just because of there's some off-field concerns, but the athleticism is certainly there.
Let's go with Michael Trigg because I don't have to deal with the locker room stuff.
No, that you don't. That's right. You get to go home after this. All right, New England Patriots, Emory.
And there's always a sliding scale for the off the field. Listen, you slide because you need at least 3 of them on a team. All right, because I don't hate against HBCUs, go to cornerback and give me Gerard Washington of South Carolina State. Shout out to Coach Chinnis Berry, who just does a fantastic job no matter where he is. Southern, Benedict, South Carolina State, outstanding coach right there. Gerard, when he has a chance to make the play, he's making the play.
Yeah, number 1, I had him on the board. Number 2, this is around the range I have him going off, so that's a win-win for Wilson. All right, next up, the New Orleans Saints. Back at it. Let's look for best available. I'm going to take Keegan Trost. I'm just adding offensive line help, and you can move him inside if you want. I think I like him more than most people. I'm okay with that. I can live with that. Round 5, it feels like a bargain for me, so Keegan Trost, come on down. And then Ravens. We're in the comp pick section, round 5. Josh, you have 2 picks in a row for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, back-to-back picks here. Let's go. First of all, let's look at the edge rushers. I'm going to go with Max Llewellyn from Iowa.
His spin move it's so fun to watch. Like he's got one golf bag in his he's got one golf club in his bag. He's hitting the driver every single time.
And I was so high on him coming into 2025 too. I thought maybe there was a little bit of regression, but he's still a relatively young player. I think this is a player that Baltimore has historically fared well with. So I like the value here. Now we got a couple of Hawkeyes back to back. Like Emory, maybe I should look at Iowa to see if there's any more I can take here. But
Josh loves Texas A&M and Josh loves Iowa. That's what we learned.
I mean, there's one more you can take that'll help out Baltimore. I'm gonna keep that under the top.
Let's look at the offensive tackles real quick. I'm gonna go Diego Pounds.
Ooh.
Okay.
Diego Pounds, one of those bigger bodies that Baltimore is typically drawn to if he's – let's go with Diego Pounds.
Out of Ole Miss. All right, JP, back-to-back Raiders comp pick, Chiefs comp pick.
So if I'm following what Clint Kubiak's coming from with Seahawks, around this time last year in the 5th round, they drafted Robbie Oates, a fullback.
Oh, yes.
So I'm going with Riley Nowakowski.
Yeah, let's go, Riley.
Love it.
They signed Connor Hayward to a 2-year deal, sort of $5.5 million, so sort of like one and we'll see. But Riley Nowakowski is one of my favorite players to watch in this class.
He does everything, man. They just say that he can catch passes. He's obviously going to block. He's a better mover in space than I think he gets credit for. Didn't have a great 3-cone drill, but he wasn't supposed to. All right, back to you with the Kansas City Chiefs.
So I'm going to linebacker here, and I'm getting Spags his project. Is Jaden Duggar on the board here?
He should be. There he is.
UL Lafayette, 6'5", 240, former safety. He plays with the former safety's range and instincts. So you just want that guy to learn behind Drew Tranquil and Nick Bolton.
They got some athletes on that Chiefs mock draft defense that we're putting together here. All right. Next up, Cowboys still in the comp range. This is me. What do we want to do here? Let me look at the cornerbacks because I'm going to double down on guys if you need to here. Oh, Colin Wright's a good player. And let's look at the safeties real quick. Striker, just in case I want to get that secondary. So they signed Jalen Thompson. They have Malik Hooker. Oh, am I going to do this? I think I'm going to do this. I love this guy. I'm shocked that he didn't have a little more buzz, a little light, but he plays very angry. I'm taking Jalen McMurray out of Tennessee. Maybe Pete's better than team. He's a juiced up, undersized slot guy who plays very angry. All right. Feel pretty good about that. All right, next up, Emory, you are the Philadelphia Eagles.
which means I am Howie Roseman, which means I'm about to do something that Howie Roseman would do. And when it's like week 9, but how could this guy fall to the Eagles? Howie does it again. Go to linebackers and give me Harold Perkins. We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah. And this
But
feels
no,
about
Vic
the range.
Fangio is like the best thing for him. Just
Right.
find a spot for him on that defense.
Just go get
That's
the quarterback. Keep it simple for him. His playbook is one sheet. Like, yo, this is what you do. Just go get him. Period.
Especially in the division where they are, where you have to spy Jackson Dart, you have to spy Jaden Daniels, you're going to have to watch Dak Prescott. Like you just want a designated QB spy, and that's something that Perkins can do right away.
JP just got smarter ever since he drafted the Louisiana Raging Cajun. Like everything he said since then has been elite.
I'm just glad I had him on the board. Let's give me a little credit. That's where I'm at on that. All right, Josh, you're the Jets.
So I think we've addressed every position except the defensive line to this point on defense. So let's go with the defensive line. I do like Zane Durant too, but let's go with DeMonte Capehart out of Clemson. A player that's kind of been volatile throughout his Clemson career. But when you look at that Tigers defense, I mean, who hasn't been? So I'm kind of hopeful that he's going to reach the best version of himself on the Jets next season.
All right. DeMonte Capehart is in the books. Back to the Dallas Cowboys. And all right, let's see here. I was thinking about it, but I'm not going to do it. Let's go. Let's look at wide receiver just to see if there's any specialists out there that can add something to the room. All right, go to best available real quick, striker, because we're at the point in the process where this is wide open. And give me corners again, because I just took a slot guy, so let's see what we can do outside. I'm going to take Colin Wright out of Stanford. He's a good player, good physical player.
All right.
Yep.
Detroit here. There are two guys that I'm thinking. But I'm going to go with Dalton Johnson, safety from Arizona. This is about where I'd have him. Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, both coming off injuries. Dalton Johnson is such a physical player. He can match with guys. I think this is great value for him.
All right. Round 6. And Josh, you're up with the Buffalo Bills. And then Emory, you're the Arizona Cardinals. And I'm going to take a quick break because I've been going for this many hours. We'll be back. So keep it going, and I'll be back in a second.
We've just about reached the point in the draft where you're kind of like Oprah and you just start giving teams a tight end because that's how many are available in this draft. Man, my top prospects available would be offensive line, but that doesn't really marry up with their biggest positional needs. I'm going to go, Striker, if you could go to the offensive tackles, actually. We'll go with Drew Shelton from Penn State.
All right. I love what we've done so far with the Arizona Cardinals. A lot of speed, a lot of explosiveness, no blocking. That's why we're here to fix that. So let's go to interior offensive line, right? See what we got here. Scroll. I should do it just because Josh's face right there. Let's go. Keep scrolling. Let's go. Joshua Braun, Kentucky.
Surprise, surprise.
Let's do it.
Hey, there's a couple more out there for you too. You might get to them before the end of this.
My number 2 center still sitting there too. I'll circle back and get him later.
All right, back to me, Tennessee Titans. Okie dokie. So we have, So let's see here. Let's go. Like just keep adding. Yeah, I mean, this this point is best player available. Let me double check and make sure. So I have an idea. Yeah, let's go with Bishop Fitzgerald, the safety out of USC. Add some depth there.
All right, so Raiders here. Go to defensive tackle for me. Go to interior defensive line. Just want to give them some depth and some more pass rush upside. Give me Zane Durant.
Oh, there we go. Love it.
And for the Giants, if you could go to offensive tackle for me, because I think there's a guy that I want to take off the board as just, depth. He can play multiple positions. I'm going to do it. Give me Brian Parker.
Okay. Yeah, that's a fun player. Played outside, and he's going to play inside at the next level.
Yeah, very like guard center convert.
Yeah, but certainly different than the other Duke
Barton.
guy that got, Graham Barton. Thank you. Emory, you're the Commanders.
Go to wide receiver because I'm gonna do what Ryan should have did.
What should I
Scroll
do?
down. Give me Caden Weegent. We about to be explosive in the return game.
Oh, look at this guy. He is not kidding with you and Josh should start an Iowa blog.
Get Chris Hassel the host.
All right, Seahawks are on the board here. This is an A++ draft. For me, Seahawks fans may feel a little differently. Again, not a ton of needs. Let me see cornerback striker just in case we want to keep going down that road. And I'm going to take this guy. He's another big, long, physical corner. He got benched last year, but when he came back, played a little bit better. Damani Jones out of Alabama. Damani Jackson, out of Alabama. And now, Josh, you are the Bengals.
All right, it's I could continue with the shtick and just give him another defender. I'm actually going to look on the offense. Let's go with wide receivers. We'll go with Deion Burks from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That's a good pick.
I was sort of hoping that you would pick him here for the Bengals because that's exactly what they need in terms of just juiced up slot guy.
Yeah, and again, that's interesting that he's here because you might think he goes a little higher, but you got to draft somebody somewhere, and sometimes these guys get pushed down for sure. All right, New Orleans Saints back on the clock here. Let me look at tight end striker. Let's just see. I don't think that Taysom Hill's going to play forever.
Oh, gosh.
Dang.
Well, they haven't re-signed Taysom, right? Is he still a free agent?
I think he might be.
Okay.
So you're taking Cole Payton?
There you go.
Oh, Cole Payton. What? Oh, what a call. So that's Tyler Shuck. They have Spencer Rattler. They have Zach Wilson now on the roster. So, yeah, that's right. Because Taysom, I think, announced that he wasn't sure if he was going to be back. Let's take Tanner Kozuel. He had a good little Senior Bowl as well. I like him. Obviously, they have Juwan Johnson, and they signed Noah Fant, but Noah Fant's bounced around a good bit for a former first-round pick, I think it's fair to say. Emory, you are the Patriots.
Ryan. Like the man staring you right in the face.
Who do you want me to take?
The new Taysom Hill. Go back to tight ends. Scroll down. Give me Syracuse finest Dan Villari. QB turned tight end. Ran for $150 on somebody. So give me him because that's gonna be our short yardage red zone QB.
Okay. I mean, I live in Syracuse and I saw Dan at the Senior Bowl, but I think I would take Cole Payton over Dan if we're going to make that change. But look, man, Patriots went to the Super Bowl, so maybe you're onto something. All right, JP, back-to-back picks for the Giants.
So let's first go to cornerback. I think they could use some depth at corner, especially with Greg Newsome. As a first-hand viewer of the Greg Newsome experience, I don't know if I'd want to do that again. Give me Charles Demmings from Stephen F. Austin. Yeah, he really stood out at the Senior Bowl. I thought he was pretty impressive, as of course, for guys coming up. But I think Charles Demmings would be a really fun fit there. And then go to running back because Scadaboo is going to be coming off injury. Tyrone Tracy's more of a specialist. Oh, man, there are some really fun players here.
JP, we did take Jadarian Price if that.
They take Jadarian Price. Okay, good. So you took a running back here. Good. So then let's go back. Let's just do best player available here. We've already got 2 tackles. Let's go to receiver. Let's keep giving Jackson Dart some weapons because there's probably somebody way down the board that I just All right. Let's go with Cyrus Allen.
He's a good player.
From Cincinnati. Really fun, really good route runner. I think probably going to be more of a slot only, but I really like his ability to create separation.
All right, back to the Tennessee Titans here. Let's go to wide receiver. I'm going to just follow just keep stocking the room and then seeing what happens. So let's scroll down a little bit and see if there's any fun players that we're in round 6. You know what I'm going to take? I'm going to take Aaron Anderson. He's at the bottom there. It's crazy that he's so juiced up. He did not run well at his pro day, but I'm going to take him here. He's undersized, but I'd like the middle of the field versatility. Excuse me. All right, Tampa Bay Buccaneers
on 5'8" receivers with him and Wan'Dale Robinson.
That's right. Let's keep it going. He'll be the scout shadow for Wan'Dale. All right, Buccaneers. Emory, that is you.
That is me. I will go and help out the defense once again. Go to linebacker. Saw this kid at the Hula Bowl. Got the call up to Shrine Game. Jackson Kiwach from Miami of Ohio. Oh, yeah. Inside linebacker, 6'3", 235, can cover. Not afraid to play man coverage. Love the way he played in the 2 All-Star games. They were very good on defense too, Miami of Ohio.
I think he was Ohio State for transfer too, if I'm recalling correctly. I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure. So he has some pedigree for sure. Josh, you're the Vikings.
Let's go to the tight ends, please. Scroll down a little bit more. Yeah, let's go with Marlon Klein from Michigan here.
That's Rand's guy from Germany. All right, Emory, back-to-back picture, the Eagles, and then you are the Patriots.
I am the Eagles. Let's see what we've done so far. Everything's looking good. I love the running back situation. All right. They really, let's go quarterback, man. Let's get them, someone that gives you. Give me Jalen Daniels. Kansas had a really good Shrine Week. And again, it's about stockpiling depth with similar players and guys that you don't have to change the offense much. Now, again, Jalen Hurts, knock on wood, rock solid health, but someone that's very similar. And for the Patriots,
to you.
All right, go back to, we did a lot of, let's go core special teamer, go wide receiver. I'm a big Nick DeGennaro fan when he was at Richmond, but go to Dylan Bell. Every time we saw Dylan Bell earlier in his career, give me Dylan Bell in the backfield, that big ugly 86. I think he'll end up being a better pro than he was in college.
He's like who was the guy that played for the Packers that wore the wide receiver number? Yeah, thank you. Thank you. All right, the Cincinnati Bengals are up, Josh. What you got?
Let's go to the running backs.
So just to recap quickly, Josh, here. Just to recap quickly for the Bengals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of their 6 previous picks have been on defense, which is the right way to go. So a little love for the offense here.
Let's go with DeMond Claiborne from Wake Forest.
Oh. All right. Emory, I believe you are the Carolina Panthers.
I am, and I'm going to go running back. Jonathan Brooks, I hope he returns back fully healthy. I get it. I think, wow.
You okay?
Because I don't want to say the name, but y'all see it. But I'll go Jam Miller. Jam Miller reminds me of Kenneth Walker. Like, nothing he does is supposed to be how you draw it up, but he finds a way to make it work, and he has that burst and explosiveness. So that's something that's a foundational guy that they can trust.
All right, here's what I'm going to do, and this hurts me to my core because my guy Kyle McCord now plays on the Packers, and I love me some Kyle McCord last year. And show me someone who played worse in the preseason than Kyle McCord, and I will show you someone that's not in football. I'm going to go with Cade Klubnik because I think that Matt LaFleur, if anybody can get the most out of Cade Klubnik, it would be Matt LaFleur. And we are back to New England Patriots, so that, I believe, is you, Emory.
All right, cool. So I can do it. So all of this now makes sense. Go back to running backs. Patriot, America, You know, give me Eli hiding right. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's do this the right way. This is such a Patriots pick. Give me Eli hiding right.
He's a good player. Are you playing him at running back? Are you playing him outside or everywhere?
We're playing him on offense. He does it all. I love that he was a slot back. He was a great receiver in high school. And then he had to play that slot back. So he learned how to be a little bit more physical so he could play either or at the pro level.
And he's not small. He's 200 pounds. And also his pro day, I think he had the best 3-cone of any pro day 3-cone for the skill position players. So
and they on the Boston on the water, like it, bro, Navy, all that works. All that works.
Yeah. Bill Belichick connection. His dad was in Annapolis and then New England. All right. Jaguars. All right, assistant GM JP, what do you want to do?
I think they could use some more receiver depth. I think they need to be a little bigger, a little big, tall. Although I do love Kevin Coleman for what he is, I don't think he fits the big, tall that we're looking for. Go Caleb Douglas.
I was going to say Caleb's pretty long. And I think Caleb is the 4.39 one. I think Reggie Virgil may have been the slower one. I'll double check, but I think that's right here. All right, now we are to the Los Angeles Chargers. And Josh, that is you.
Let's go. Do I want to do this is the real question. I think I'm going to go with Drew Aller.
Nice.
QB of the future, baby.
You know what, man? This feels like this is the stunt double for Justin Herbert.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's a lot like Justin Herbert, a little bit more robotic. But Trey Lance, if he ever gets onto the field, he may be one of those players that ultimately gets another look somewhere in the NFL. So you're going to need somebody else at the position. I'm going to go with Drew Aller here, who's the prototypical size. Just has to speed up his processing a little bit.
And look, if Mike McDaniel gives him the same pep talk he gave Tua when he was going to meet Tua, he's going to the Hall of Fame, Drew Aller is. So this might be best case scenario for him.
While we joking, that was Harbaugh did bring in DJ Uiagalelei last year for preseason too. So
yeah, same body type.
Yep.
All right, JP, you're the Detroit Lions.
I'm gonna go defensive tackle here, give them some more depth up front. David Gusta is a guy that's tested really well, had a really good pre-draft cycle. I think that's where I'm gonna go with the Lions here.
All right, let's go. All right, Josh, back to you, Cleveland Browns.
Let's see if we could go to the interior offensive line. Yeah, I'm going to go with Logan Taylor from Boston College, a program that's done really well producing NFL offensive linemen over the past couple of years. Cleveland's already taken a couple of offensive tackles in this scenario, so let's go get an interior offensive lineman to kind of build out the depth there.
All right, back to JP for the Rams and then the Raiders. And I'll just point out quickly, I'm sort of keeping a running tally here. That was offensive guard number 16 off the board you just took there, Josh. We've had 30 wide receivers off the board here. So that gives you some indication of the depth, at least, at a couple positions here. All right, back to you, JP.
Go to tackle for me. I think they really like Warren McClendon. But I do think a guy like Carver Willis gives them some positional versatility. So I'm going to draft Carver Willis here.
He is exactly that, as I stutter through it. He worked at Garden Center, the Senior Bowl, when JP and I were there, and he is one of the best athletes in space among the interior or the offensive linemen. So that's a fun pick there. All right, back at you with the Raiders.
Man, okay. So I think I'm going to give them some more depth at corner, mainly because I think the corner here that I want to draft still here. Go Thaddeus Dixon.
Yeah. I'm not going to throw Thad under the bus, but Tyron Montgomery has some pretty good reps one-on-one against Thad.
Yeah, I think his North Carolina tape was a lot better than what he did at the Senior Bowl, but I still think the size, the length, they'll really help at corner.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's 6th round, 100%. This is a pretty good value here. Emory, Washington Commanders.
All right, you guys did a great job by taking Sonny Styles, but let's continue to add to the core special teams. Go to inside linebacker. scroll. This dude went back to school. You just saw breaking news. Owen Heineke. That's crazy.
He just went back?
They
Yep.
Yep.
He got his waiver. Wow.
Got his waiver. Yep.
Oh, that's what he's waiting for? Okay. Well,
Honestly, he was one of the few that deserved to have a waiver, in my opinion.
Right.
All right. Well,
I like Aiden Fisher too. Let me get Aiden Fisher.
yeah, it didn't test well, but man, he's the Pat Coogan of that defense, in the middle of that defense, and he's a guy you want in that locker room, and he's making plays in between the tackles, at least. Okay, Chiefs, JP.
Oh man, I'm gonna keep going with receiver depth. See if we can find some guys that are gonna be good on special teams. You know what? This guy's sort of redundant to what they have in the room, but I just think he's a good player. Give me Kevin Coleman Jr. I just think he's a good player. He plays a lot bigger than he actually is, especially over the middle of the field.
Yeah, I love it. Wide receiver 31. That's hysterical. All right, Josh, you're the Ravens.
Yeah, to this point, Baltimore's picked just about every position. So we're gonna do what I said earlier. We're just gonna give them one of those tight ends. I think it is a need for them at this point to continue building out depth. They lost Isaiah Likely. They lost Charlie Kohler. So I'm going to give them, let's see, who do I have here? I'm going to give them Will Kakmarek from Ohio State.
One of the best blockers, if not the best blocker in the draft class, the tight end. Love it. All right, next up, Emory, the Patriots.
Quarterback.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, listen, Mike Vrabel, Diego Pavia, my kind of guy. We don't take Pavia.
All right, Pavia gets drafted.
Let him and DeVito fight it out.
Pavia gets drafted. All right. Detroit, I believe that is you, JP. Yep.
So at this point, like Josh said with the Ravens, I think I've drafted every position for the Lions except for quarterback. And I do have Teddy Bridgewater sort of the backup, but I do think they like having a young guy on the roster. I'm going to go Cole Payton.
Oh, that's a good one. So 11 quarterbacks are now off the board. So we're moving a little bit now after a sluggish start. All right, I'm picking for the Indianapolis Colts. And let me double check here. Daniel Jones and Riley Leonard, and then they have Seth Hennigan from Memphis. I don't imagine Anthony Richardson is long for this team once we get back to playing football. I'm going to take my guy Sawyer Robertson here. He feels like a loose cannon enough type of in between Daniel Jones and Riley Leonard to be a developmental guy, maybe a practice squad guy at the bottom of the 6th round here. Okay, 2 more comp picks to go, JP, and they're both coming from you, the Falcons and the Steelers.
This is perfect for my brand. I was able to get Joshua Josephs earlier. I'm going to go pick Nate Borkacher here for the Falcons.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Finally, we're able to get real 12 personnel in here.
Yeah, because he can block. He ain't messing around. He's an inline guy who has a little juice outside. And then my Pittsburgh Steelers are round out round 6.
All right. So the Steelers, like almost every other team now, have picked almost every position. But I'm going to go defensive interior here just to round out some more depth and make the strength even stronger. Give me Tim Keenan.
Man, that guy, between him and Zane Durant, you got to type.
Let's stop the run. Tim Keenan is built like an English bulldog, and I like those guys stop the run.
That's the best comp for Tim Keenan I've heard. I would not tell Tim Keenan that, but I agree with you. All right, round 6 in the books. One more round to go. We're speeding right through this thing.
Yeah.
Sort of. We started at 3. It's 7, so we're getting there. All right, let's get through this thing. Round 7. Arizona Cardinals. They finally get to pick again. And Arizona is Emory.
Go to tackle. Scroll. All right.
Got,
you know
got
what?
any Kentucky guys in there?
I'm about to say, like, we ran out. You know what I mean? I do like. Hold on. I do like Chris Adams.
Yeah.
You know,
the other Memphis tackle. That's right.
Right. Yeah, let me go down and get Chris Adams.
All right, I'm picking for the Cowboys here. I'm adding depth. I like Amaje Reed Adams a lot. He's still there. I'm just going to take him here because he's the best player available for me. And we'll figure it out once we get to OTAs and training camp. Las Vegas Raiders, that is JP.
Let's go to edge. Let's just keep adding to the pass rush. Let's go with George Gums Jr.
Nice. Former wide receiver George Gums Jr.
I think he's going to go before Sapp. He's got a little bit more of the traditional body type of an edge rusher. Sapp is more of a tweener guy.
Yeah. Josh, you're back-to-back with the Bills and the Bengals. You all right?
Yeah. Sorting through the positions that I haven't taken for them yet. They don't really need – let's see who's available at wide receiver. You know what? I'm going to step on Emory's turf here. I'm going to take Kendrick Law from Kentucky.
There you go. Bowling ball, Kendrick Law. And then right back to you.
Bengals. They probably need more competition at corner, and sitting right there at the top of your board, Andre Fuller, he and his teammate Avery Smith are probably, two of the best available at this point. I'm going to go with Avery Smith.
Nice.
We'll go with Avery Smith.
All right, Detroit. I think that's you, JP.
So Josh took the receiver that I wanted to be sort of their return specialist in Kendrick Law. But I'm going to go receiver here just, again, give them some depth, give them a guy that can play on special teams. Let's go Xavier Thomas.
Nice, at LSU. There you go. All right, Washington Commanders, Emory Hunt.
All right, this is something I've seen Washington do for a while because of the connection with Doug Williams. So type in Eric Hunter. E-R-I.
Oh, he's testing you now.
Yeah. Of course he does.
Eric Hunter. Where did he go to school?
Morgan State. Linebacker, ran 4.4 at the HBCU showcase 2 weeks ago at the Washington Commanders facility. He always held a spot for the HBCU guy that stands out at the HBCU Legacy Bowl too. All right, so let's go tackle once again. We got guard, tackle, J.C. Davis.
J.C. Davis, that it.
Former HBCU guy too.
There you go. All right, the Steelers, back to you, JP. I mean, they have 12 picks in the draft, so you're getting your money's worth out of this one.
Yeah, we're really starting to we're going to double up on a lot of positions here for the Steelers. Go to tackle or stay at tackle for me. I'm actually going to give them another sort of project style of tackle, and I'm going to go Famili Famoe here.
Out of Wake
Forest.
This is the range.
Just see what happens.
Just see what happens. We're in round 7.
He's got some versatility as a guard too, so I like that fit, especially on day 3.
All right, Tennessee Titans back at it here. I'm just going to work the board here. I'm taking Andre Fuller, cornerback. I know they made a lot of moves in the offseason, but we're in round 7. We're trying to get good football players. All right, Cincinnati Bengals, Josh.
Let's look at the interior offensive linemen. Let's go with. Let's see if he's on there. Fabechi Nawaiwu.
Fabechi. There he is. Yeah, let's go. All right, now we're to the Miami Dolphins, and that is Emory.
That would be moi. All right. What did we do? We did guard, tight end. We did a lot. We did big receiver. We got 2 big receivers. Okay. Go to running back. Special teams. Give me Desmond Reed.
Oh boy! All right, gotta have a plan.
He built like a flea, but you got to catch him first.
That's right. You got to have a plan for Desmond, but he is electric for sure. All right, Josh, back to you with the Jets.
Let's go. Oh man. Let's go to the offensive tackle. We'll just go best player available. Isaiah World.
Nice. Towards ACL
Just
late in the
Isaiah
season. Had first round buzz over the summer, but obviously got hurt. All right. Emory, back to you with the Buccaneers.
All right, now we're talking special teams. Love they brought in Kenneth Gainwell. Love Sean Tucker. Got my guy Owen Wright from Monmouth. Let's go DJ Campbell. Somebody got to take him. I'll take him.
Yeah, I'm with you. Certainly higher than this. So, JP, I'm going to make a fan suggestion of maybe a potential player here who I've loved throughout the process. Didn't get a combine invite. I would vote for, and obviously you're free to do what you want, is Omar Khan, Kalon Black.
Yeah, I was thinking running back just to sort of round out the depth in the room. Kalon Black runs really hard, runs real behind the pads. I'll take Kalon Black here.
I appreciate it. That made my day because I was not a Caleb Johnson guy last year, and then Caleb Johnson forgot the rules and got put on the bench when he fumbled the kickoff rule. And I know they have Rico Dowdle and Jalen Warren, but it's round 7. It feels like pretty good value. All right, you have 2 more picks here.
Is
JP.
where you get the CTD backs.
Yeah, I mean, you get is Mononga a 7th round pick, and then of course Pacheco was
the CTD backs. Him, Pacheco, all those dudes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Falcons and Rams back to back for you, JP.
Let's go wide receiver for the Falcons. I think they could use some more depth there. We'll go Eric Rivers. Give him speed.
Eric Rivers, shortest check time, wide receiver, and then the Rams.
I feel like this is a very Rams pick, and I know they picked Kyle Lewis in the 2nd round, but Red Murdoch from Buffalo feels very Los Angeles Ram.
Very much along the lines of what they did with Troy Reader, who they got as an undrafted free agent. That is peak Rams. You dead on with that.
All right, JP, I'm picking, but I'm coming back to you for the Jaguars. Anybody sticks out that you have to have here?
I have a feeling they're going to draft Jack Kelly from BYU.
Right, let's go.
He's a Senior Bowl guy. The Jaguars love picking from Senior Bowl, Shrine Bowl. Another former edge, transferred up to BYU. Great blitzer. And I think that's what they're looking for opposite Ventrell Miller. And I think they like Ventrell Miller. So they're going to draft linebacker day 3. And I think it's going to be Jack Kelly.
Yeah, and I actually had him ranked pretty high here. So I feel great about that. Minnesota with back-to-back picks, I believe. And
yeah, we haven't taken secondary yet, which is arguably their biggest need. I don't see this guy on my board, so it's possible he was already taken. But if you go to the cornerbacks, Brent Austin.
There he is.
Yeah, Brent Austin from California. I like him quite a bit. I think those California defensive backs were really well coached and have been the past couple of years. They've produced a lot of pros, so I'm going to go Brent Austin here. And then for my second pick, I'm going to stick in the secondary. Let's go with safety this time, however. Let's go with Jacoby Thomas from Miami.
Yeah, that's a good pick right there. Good value for sure. All right, I'm up with the Green Bay Packers, and so I'm taking Tacario Davis. I think I'm going to double down, and I'm going to take Toriano Pride Jr., who good player out of Missouri. He ran a super fast time too, but I liked his tape even before he got to the pre-draft workout portion of the conversation here. And then right back to you, JP, with the Steelers.
At this point, we're looking for speed, special teams. I'm going to go Lorenzo Styles Jr.
Yes. That is a good pick. Then the Dolphins are right back at it. Emory.
Defensive line depth, guy get off the ball really well. Cameron Ball from Arkansas. Another frustrating team to watch. Good players individually, collectively, stunk on defense.
Well, everybody on that team ran 4-3, and they still won a game and a half.
Their Notre Dame game was peak Arkansas defense.
That was a whooping. That was an absolute whooping. All right, the Bears. To you, JP.
All right. So I love what they've done with getting Josiah Trotter. Got Sam Hecht, Kane McDonald, Jensen Smith, Ephesians Price Sock. So let's go add some more offensive line depth. Let's go to tackle, interior offensive line. I have a feeling that Ben Johnson will like this guy a little bit more than I think everybody else will. I'm gonna go Parker Brailsford. Or actually, no, we got Hecht already. Let's not go Brailsford. Let's go Emil Wagner. I think we'll just keep adding tackles until we have some depth there that we can trust.
All right, Jacksonville Jaguars. The JP Acostas are back on the clock here. Any position you think is a dire need at this point? They have as many picks as the Steelers, it feels like.
At this point, it's more best player available. I'd be a little surprised if they picked the quarterback just because I think Nick Mullins is still going to be the backup. But I honestly like best player available because all the needs have been filled.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a guy that I think he had 35, maybe 36-inch arms during the pre-draft process. Offensive line. I went back and watched him. Rasheed Miller out of Louisville. That dude can play. He's probably going to get drafted. Didn't get a lot of All-Star game buzz, but let's go with Rasheed Miller.
At this point for the Bears, we're going to keep going best player available. Let's go Scooby Williams.
Yeah.
Again, linebacker depth, special teams.
All right, Josh, Jets are up.
Let's go. Oh, man. Let's look at the edge group real quick. I'm going to go with, you know what? I'm going to go with one of my favorites. I'm going to go with Quintavious Hutchins. He's going to be a DPR type guy, but I think he's got more in the tank than what his production would indicate. I think he's a really good player. He's explosive, somebody that can get after the quarterback. So I'm going to take him here late.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think he only had 2 sacks last year, but when I was talking to him at the Senior Bowl, I asked him about one of his favorite plays, and it was the interception of Tyler Shuck in 2024. Tim Lewis was the defensive coordinator. He was supposed to blitz, and he said what he did was he looked up at the big screen and saw the routes they were running, and he dropped off into the flat. And Shuck had no idea he was there. He threw him the ball right into his face. I said, when you got to the sidelines, what'd you say to Tim Lewis? He goes, I was at the other side of the bench. I didn't want to hear about it from him because I was not where I was supposed to be. But he's an interesting guy, and he does have a little juice shot, certainly more than we saw with the production, at least. All right, Houston Texans here. I'm taking a quarterback. I'm going to just take the guy that I think has a chance to get drafted. Again, I think he had a Hula Bowl invite. I'm going with my guy, Ethan Kaliakmanis, the Greek Rifle. He's a fun watch, man. I got some Aiden O'Connell vibes from him, and this will be our last chance to draft a quarterback with the teams I have here. So I'm taking Ethan here. Josh, you are the Vikings, sir.
I'm going to stick in the secondary again. We'll make it 3 straight picks. Cornerback, please. Hopefully this guy's on here. I'm going to go with Alzillian Hamilton.
I like him.
Ooh, good.
Fresno.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? I've actually watched him, but he was outside my top 300. So that's you got us in between the cracks there.
Let's who do we want to go with here? We'll go with safety now. I'm curious who's still available. I do like DJ Singleton from Nebraska. I think he has some versatility. Let's go with Lewis Moore from Indiana. A little surprised he's here this late. I think that's good value for the Vikings.
All right, back to me with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's see. I won't put any pressure on JP. If you have a name, let me know. But I'm leaning Harrison Wallace at third, just the best player available, wide receiver out of Ole Miss. But how do you feel like that?
Yeah, I think it's just best player available. We're just trying to round out the receiver room, give them some depth.
All right, let's go with that. All right, Josh, back to you again. Broncos.
Yeah, better get comfortable with a lot of Ravens and Broncos picks here over the last dozen or so that we have remaining. This is the first of 3 for the Broncos. Let's look at, let's see, tackle. Let's go with interior offensive line, please. I'm going to go with Matt Golban from Michigan State. I think he's got some versatility. Maybe best suited at center, but I think he's somebody that can give them a little bit of depth there in a couple positions.
All right, Emory. Yeah, the Patriots here. This is your last pick. You can sit and watch for the next 10 picks after this.
No,
last
so I
pick
gotta make it last forever. What song that was? JP and Josh don't know that. Scroll down. Let's see. That's Key Sweat by the way. Shout out to Key Sweat.
I think he's watching, so that's a good shout out.
Right. He in the chat. Thank you for the super chat.
Give us $1.99.
All right. Go to safety. Cole Wisniewski, give me help. I'm surprised he has fantastic feet, man. Like for a guy that played linebacker, really confident in his footwork. So give me Cole Wisniewski. He's actually my number 1 strong safety in this class.
Yeah, it's funny we're having the conversation about the guys that are still remaining, but just shows you that good players can certainly get pushed down. All right, Josh, you were there for the Browns.
I'm going to go with let's go to the interior. Well, actually, he may show up as edge. I don't know. Tyree West. We'll just search by name. Tyree West. Okay. Let's I've given them Logan Taylor. What about, is Parker Brailsford still there? I know JP talked about taking him at one point. Let's go with, we'll go with Parker Brailsford.
All right. Now I'm going to start taking guys that I love. So I'm with the Colts here. I'm taking Skylar Gill Howard, juiced up, undersized defensive tackle.
A nice compliment to what they already have in DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart.
Yeah, he's so much fun, man. And I got banged up last year, so I didn't play the second half of the season, but transferred from NIU, and prior to that, Upper Iowa. Which,
shout out to the Peacocks.
That's right. I was going to say only Emory knows Upper Iowa D2.
They got a wide receiver in Marte Morrow. Marte Morrow in this draft class from Upper Iowa. Big wide receiver.
There you go. All right, Baltimore. That's you, Josh.
I'm going to go with Deshaun Singleton from Nebraska. Kind of a versatile player there for that new defense. I think he's somebody that could be a really interesting player in the way that he's deployed.
All right, 2 Rams picks in a row for JP.
All right, so the first Rams pick I want to make here is Robert Spears Jennings, safety from Oklahoma. Get real fast. And then the second one here, go to quarterback, because it's currently Stafford and Stetson Bennett behind him. Let's go Luke Altmaier.
All right, he feels like a Sean McVay guy. All right, Luke Altmaier is in the building, and then Josh, back to you with the Ravens.
Who's their backup quarterback right now?
The Ravens?
Huntley.
Yeah.
Snoop, they got
Huntley
back.
Still?
Yeah, they brought him back.
Bring back. Okay.
And then after that, that's it, though. They only have 2 quarterbacks on the roster, so you can.
You know what? We'll go with Diet Lamar Jackson in the way that he was used this past season. We'll go with Mark Gronowski, quarterback, Iowa.
Oh, got to get the Iowa guy in there one last chance.
There it is.
I was wondering which direction we're going with that. All right, my last pick for the Indianapolis Colts, best player available. Let's go with, I'm going to take Pete's guy. He's a big Garrett DiGiorgio guy out of UCLA. Let's get Garrett DiGiorgio. Let's get his name called so he can celebrate with his family. Guard out of UCLA. And then I'm back on the clock with the Packers too. Okay. I'm going to take DJ Rogers tight end. Let's just make this simple. He's at the top of my board. Actually, you know what? Hold on, Striker, before you hit the button. Let's take Lake McCree, the tight end out of USC. He's a fun player. Shrine Bowl invitee. I like DJ. DJ's a good athlete, but let's take Lake. I want to give him a little love. And now, Josh, wrap us up. Last 2 picks. Broncos. I can't wait to see who Mr. Irrelevant is.
Yeah, last 2 picks with the Broncos. Let's go. Let's look at the linebackers real quick. Took Jake Golday earlier. Justin Jefferson from Alabama.
He's long gone. I took him a while ago.
Already gone.
Okay, I didn't have
he's
him
my
marked.
Eric
We'll go
Gentry,
with-
6'5" with 35-inch arms. If that entices you at all,
Nah, I'm not as high on Gentry. Let's go with safety.
you're not as high, and we're next to the last pick.
Well, yeah, this is you got to take your favorite players here. So I'm going to take we'll take Michael Taft from Texas.
Safety out of Texas. Let's go.
All
right,
and then
hold on.
Let's
Build the suspense here, Josh. This is Mr. Irrelevant 2026. I gotta go back and check who our Mr. Irrelevant was last year for our 7-round mock draft. All right, pressure's on. What are you doing?
You don't have any fancy music or anything to play here that can play ourselves out? I'm going to go with. Yeah, there it is.
The Striker wilding, man. Like, stay out the club, Striker.
About this player, I don't think he was actually taken. Kalen Black.
No, I made JP take him to the Steelers.
Oh, he was taken?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with Le'Veon Moss, Texas A&M running back.
All right, Mr. Irrelevant, Le'Veon Moss. All right. That is it. 257 picks in the books. Like last year, the mock draft machine didn't run out of batteries halfway through, so we're good there. Shout out to producer Striker for all the work he did putting this together before and during. Thanks all you guys for helping out. I appreciate you guys doing the heavy lifting on the day 3 portion of it. And as always, thanks to the guys who watched and listened and commented. I can't wait to go back and see all the nice things you said about all my picks. And all right, let's take a deep breath here, guys. 7 days to the draft. And thanks again. We will see you guys in the next one.